What's up, people? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I mentioned it in my other video that I put out that I'm going to put out. I'm not 100% sure what's going on right now. I'm filming a lot of things at once right now. Um, I wanted to do a live video on the cards that going to start to invest in. I guess I started in a series. I'll just call it basic generic name series. Investment review, which going over some of the cards that I had invested in over the past couple years. But something that I really want to do, especially starting with the beginning of this year, was I wanted to start doing more. I said live because I wanted to do a video of me, kind of gets like vlogging me going to pick up some of these cards. But because of the change of circumstance, where I ended up finding someone that had a really good Yu collection, that had a good amount of cards that I wanted to invest in already inside of it. So I ended up just buying that collection because it just made more sense to spend my money in that area. So I ended up buying that collection, and I ended up getting getting a couple copies of those cards, and I want to go over these are five cards that basically that I kind of want to start. It's still going to be an investment review, but it's probably I might add something to it, which will kind of be just me going over my first 5 rounds of cards at the beginning of the year that I really think that you should either if not, maybe if you don't want to invest them, maybe just kind of get these cards before they go up, just to have them. And if you are someone who's maybe thinking about investing and you're not sure, or you want input, that's just me, what I'm doing. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advisor channel. I am not telling you to spend your money here. I am not saying I have all the answers. These are just my personal choices that I'm making for myself, that may or may not make money. I have made money in the past. I've lost money just like anyone else. So like you said, like a lot of this just goes back into me getting more cards for not only my collection but to play competitively. I really like playing competitively, and I don't like spending my own money on competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, especially with how expensive it can get sometimes. It has gotten better, but that's discussion for a different video. So yeah, so I do like to invest in Yu-Gi-Oh to kind of keep my to just not only to keep my mind to fresh on what's going on, but I do like to invest to like make sure I have money to buy the top cards I need. Like currently, I'm not really playing top, like super top meta right now, so I don't need like the Fenrir's, or I don't need yeah, I don't need tier element, but but there are cards that are expensive that I do have to get my hands on, and I would rather just use money I get from Yu-Gi-Oh rather than use money I would get in my job, rather save that money to pay for a house. So with that all being said, I want to get into the 5 cards that I'm going to start off with this year investing. And this one's a bit of a cheat, but I did just want to just mention it because I kind of want to throw it out there again, is Krashi. Now Krashi is a really interesting card. It is really good. At one point, it was going for $8 for the rare. The rare was $8. Why was the rare $8? Because essentially, if you are going to run a fusion deck, and of course, one of the main fusion decks that really use this, although the main one that used this, it was Alistair, the Invoker, the Invoke decks. Like, Invoke decks really took advantage of this, so this is what it reads. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can apply the following effect in sequence based on the cards and types this monster points to. So, Ritual, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Wasn't really used too much. Fusion, special summon 1 level 4 low monster from your graveyard. Essentially, this right here was its main drawback, was to get your monster back, which was gave it a lot of extra effects. It has other effects where it says synchro, all monsters you control gain 700 attack, and then XYZ, all monsters your opponent control loses 700 attack. So those two, though the first one is actually not that bad, to be honest. Like I'm a little surprised that no one's really tried Cross Sheep in any kind of ritual deck, but then again, a lot of ritual decks are broken because they're more focused on not allowing you to like really get out monsters from the extra deck. They're more focused on the ritual, so it's like probably have to jump through hoops just to get the 2 cards, and then you could probably get 2 cards in the strategy anyway. So I understand why that one's not being used. And then the Synchro and XYZ one are very generic. Losing and gaining attack is not really that important right now in Yu-Gi-Oh. But the fusion one, that one's been used a lot, and essentially I really have faith in this card. Ever since I talked about it, I talked about this card a while ago, so that's why I call it a cheat, because I mentioned it already. But this card right now, like back when I mentioned it, it was probably in one of my maybe my second or third investment reviews. So that probably was in like the November, like the November range. So this card was like at 76 cents. It is a nothing but go up, especially this version. I'm specifically talking about the 2021 Ancient Battles, this one right here, the Prismatic Secret Rare. It is, to me, it is like the nicest version. It's like the nicest version out there, and it was at one point easy. And I really feel that this could be like, like, I mean, max, like the high at height, it could be $10 because it's like the highest rarity. But I really do like this card settling around $5. I think this could be a $5 card out of the tin, especially because it's from 2021. Maybe not right now, but around the time the 2023 tin comes out and we have, depending on what, kind of decks we're coming out, I don't want to look too far into the future with anything because I don't want to just say things are going to happen. But I do have a lot of faith in this card being worth $5, especially 2 years out of when this card came out. So this right here, I think I currently counted nine copies. I want to get another 9 copies, maybe even more, because I do feel like this card is slowly gonna start. Like it might take a while, maybe slow, but you can see this. It is just bam, 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 slowly starting to go up. And even right here, 98, 98, 99. Like like you got like 26 of them, 70, like 70. There's people that are gonna hold, but you just you just never know with a card like this. And I would like really love to have this card go up. The next card that I want to talk about is Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess, specifically the one from Magnificent Mavens. Now, the reason why I want to invest in the one from Magnificent Mavens is because the other version of it is a gold rare. Like the historically, gold rares have really not have been that favored with the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and the main thing that was driving this card's price point, because this was like a $10 card, yeah, right here it's saying it was like 20. It was mostly around the $10. That's kind of where it stayed for the while, for a good while. But this card was $10 simply because it was the only alternate art version. The fact that so and then how the gold, and not only did people not really like it, but they really didn't like how fragile it all was and how it could chip. So a lot of people kind of had no choice. If you liked this version, you had to get this. But now we essentially do not have that problem anymore, because it got reprinted right here, the alternate art. It got reprinted in Magnificent Mavens. Right now, this one, it isn't the low. It isn't like super low. It was super high, and then it waterfalled. It had a major freaking waterfall. The card drank the jelly juice, came all the way down, but it's slowly starting to go up. It is at 350, but then once these two are gone, it's gonna pop right back up. 472, 475. I could see this being $10. The reason why I could see this card being $10 is because these all slowly start to go up. This ultra rare, I could even potentially see it higher than this ultra rare, simply because this right here is just the regular original print. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, but if you were sitting there, it's like a lot of people are gonna start to make the choice, like, hey, like, I'd rather get the alternate, because, like, I mean, I do like the bear. I do like this bear dog wolf guy. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, unless you're messing with the secret rare, you got, like, you're looking at this ultra. I really like the light. I like, I like the pose. I like her sitting in the lake and everything. It's a really nice look for the card, and I can see people saying, well, I'd rather just get the cheaper version. And these slowly start to come off the market, and to where, and people and this starts to become the $10 version, while this starts to become maybe like a $7, $8 version. So I really kind of see this maybe doubling, like potentially doubling a price. Maybe even if Appaloosa comes back in the meta, it could even go to $12. So I really do have a lot of faith in this card. I got about 6 copies of these, and I do, like I said, I don't really see them going down. If they do, they do. That's Yu-Gi-Oh! But I really see these cards going up, especially now that we're gonna ramp up into, like, to you're gonna have the 250th coming up. Then we got WCQ. We got the World Qualifiers. Maybe we might have in Worlds. We might have a lot of stuff. Nationals and everything. So yeah, I can see this card going up, and I'm just gonna go ahead and jump headfirst into this card right now. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. Okay, so this, I'm just gonna get into it. The main reason I am getting into this card is here's what it is. So you have the Ghost Rare right here, right? You got the Ghost Rare, 105, 118, 114, okay? The Ghost Rare is $108, okay? Let's go over here. Now we have the Secret Rare. Secret Rare is $34. We're not going to go too deep into it. Let's just take this for face value. It's like $34. Alternate Rare, $45, okay? Ultra rare, 319. I really feel like a lot of people did not. The main reason you didn't want to run this card, or the main reason you didn't run this card, was because of its price. You were like, I'm not. You were like, it's very situational. I'm not sure if I need it, and the price is just really keeping me away from it. This card right here is like really good. Like I don't know if you played back in 2012 when people would tech, the Blackluster Soldier, like the regular effect monster in almost every deck that played Dark and Lights, because if your deck played Darks and you played Veiler, you essentially had access to him at almost any point, and it was just it would turn the game around. So like in sector deck. So I remember my friend playing in sectors, and he finally got that card, and that was a real turnaround. It was extremely hard to be able to like turn the game state around once they got that on the board, because they were either getting rid of your stuff or they're attacking twice. So this gives you that same power, but from your extra deck. It could also be an alternative to Access Code Talker. Like, I'm not saying it's better than Access Code Talker, but it does. But like, it can, like, it can kind of it can kind of serve a purpose of where it's maybe it's getting rid of a card, or it's getting another, or it's attacking for extra damage. So like, it does serve a purpose where, like, if you like, not necessarily if you can't afford it, but like, it's like this. If you really can, afford the Access Code Talker, this is a good substitute. But also, if you're in situations where you just can't get the four monsters, because maybe you're like, man, I really can't link climb into the four monsters, this is a link 3, and it only needs 3 different monsters. So it's slightly easier to go into, and I really feel that people are going to start picking this card up. They're going to start picking it up, bam, 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 and then it's just slowly going to start moving up. It's going to kind of go back to its more like $10 price point. Like, I really feel it's going to be in like the $10 range. And like, once this card goes to 10, I'm gonna offload them. I think there's like 7 copies of these that I found in the collection that I got. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're like hard to get or they're not abundant, but this is something that I've noticed that it's people just didn't run it because of how expensive it was. So I feel that I feel that once you have a budget version, people actually start running it, and then once people figure that out, it'll start to go up. It's a little out there. It's more based on speculation of how the cards worked in the past. So I'm very much applying past knowledge to a new reprint, which is not the best thing to do, but because all the other versions are really high rarity. Like, I mean, you got the secret, you got the ghost, you got the ultimate. Like, the secret is like the lowest rarity of all those 3. Even like the secret rare, and the secret is supposed to be like one of the highest rarities. It has an ultimate rare and a ghost rare. So I really feel that if this card ever becomes, super, like really, like very important, or you really want to use it, or people kind of figure out that, hey, maybe it's an easier access code talker, or it could really steal you a game. Like, there's a lot of situations where I'm like, man, if I had, Luckily Soldier, it could actually steal the game right now. You're playing Salad, you're playing this, you're playing. There's a lot of different decks that could get 3 different three monsters with different names. So yeah, especially also you got Change of Heart and ways to take your opponent's monsters. So yeah, you got ways to like really play into this card to win. So that's why I'm in. This is another card that I'm choosing to invest in. Relinquish Anima. This one right here, I'm not going to go too much into it. It is very simple why I'm investing in this card. This card was pretty expensive. I guess when it came out for a bit, like a lot of people were really like super into it, but then it kind of fell off. I really like the whole having not only a level 1 monster you could automatically turn into something that could just take, that could like, like if you have a link monster pointing, pointing into you, or if your opponent puts a monster right there lined up with extra monster zone, you could just, take it. But if the, if the field's laid out right, you could activate something like instant fusion. Instant fusion could get you either Thousand Eyes Restrict, or it'll get you the Millennium Eyes Restrict. So either way, you're either gonna, you're gonna take your opponent's monster, or you're gonna be able to negate a monster effect, and then you could link summon from any of those 2 monsters into this monster to take something else. So like, I really feel and like sometimes like I wish I had the time to kind of like experiment with these like kind of offhand combos to like make like a modern day GOAT deck, to where like, is there a way to kind of like make a deck where like maybe like it'll still have like engines and like stuff, stuff like that, but like instead of, you know, like, oh, I'm running Tri Brigade, I'm running this archetype. Like it's back. It's kind of like, can you run a deck like that but using modern day effects? And that's something that I want to like, kind of. That's something I want to explore. Where like if I have instant fusion, I play instant fusion, and then I'm able to break, kind of like I'm able to negate something or take something and then go into him and take something else, kind of break my opponent's board that way. It's very hard because Yu-Gi-Oh has changed the point where playing that slow is just is kind of a dead sentence. So it depends on what you have in there. Like if you have, like, maybe that would have to be a dedicated going second deck, because you're not gonna be able to defend yourself that well, so you're gonna need to break your opponent, try to take control, because it's very much you're playing control. So like it's gonna be a hardcore going second strategy, and then going first you're gonna need the floodgates. So it's just basically gonna turn like border stun. So yeah, I have no idea, but at the same time, I always like to dream, right? I always like to dream about this. So I do feel like this could be a $5 card. It could kind of shoot, especially the secret rare. I have a couple of these secrets. I think I have 2 ultras, and then I have 3 secrets. So I have 5 in total, but I'm trying to get like maybe 10 copies of these secrets, and then another 10 of these, and just kind of have them, see what happens. Now the last card that I am going to be investing in is the Totally Awesome. Why am I investing in Totally Awesome? You're probably thinking like, that's just too late, blah blah. No, it is never too late, because we have Bahamut Shark, we have the Nimbles, we still have Swap Frog, we have the Paleozoics. There is a lot. There is never any opportunities for freaking Totally Awesome to come back into the meta, and I am not going to be caught slipping. I had these rares. I had maybe like 3 or 4 copies of them, and I got them for like super cheap, like $2, right? And they slowly started to go up. I think they went to like 5s, and I was like, okay, I got rid of them at 5s. I thought that was cool. I had them for a while. I just needed a flip. I thought they were gonna go super cheap. No, Sprite starts to hit, and I'm like, man, I am stupid. I believe these were like at $11 at one point. They were like over almost 15s. They were pretty expensive, and I'm like, you know what? The second that happened, I'm like, the second this thing gets its reprint, I am not going to be caught slipping, and I'm just going to have them, and I am just very much getting on this freaking toad. Like this is me. This is Totally Awesome. This is me. I am the freaking dead-eyed toad staring at it, holding on to him like we are going for the ride, and that's the money I'm spending. All right. So yeah, this thing kind of fell down, and I am happy. And I suggest right now, if you want to get your copy, I would pick some up. There's a lot of people that have a lot of these, so it's going to hold this $2 price point, and I really like it at this point. I like it right here because at any point this could be $10. Like if it's 5, just hold. I see these at 10s, especially because it's an ultra. I could maybe see the rares going to 5 to 7s. These could be 8 to 12s. I really like I like the feature of Totally Awesome, because you also gotta think that the only reason why they even hit the frogs in the first place was because of Sprite. If they take Sprite out the meta, they may or may not bring back, even if it's just a 1, they might want to bring back the Ronin Totem, and that right there will automatically make people want to play Totally Awesome again, and then the price of these will shoot back up. So if this is something that you kind of want to get into at a pretty low price point, I'd probably check into the Totally Awesome. Maybe, try to see if you could get them for, like maybe like a set for $5 from your locals. And like I said, maybe just $10, get 2 sets and hold on to them. Like you don't like it's cards like this where you don't need to spend an armor. Like you don't got to spend 20, 30, $40. You could see if you could, like, a $10 bill, see if you could get 6 of them for $10, and then just hold them. And then if they go to the 8 to 12 price point, then bam, there's your money. Like that's like you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money. If you want to spend a whole bunch of money, that's that's different. There's different levels of how much you want to go into. Me personally, I don't know how many I want, but I do know I want at least 2 pages. So I got 4 right now, and I'm gonna be going on a tear. Maybe I will do that video of me going to Frank and Sons, just kind of live, going and looking for stuff. But for right now, I think I'm just gonna chill. Got a lot of work to do. That yep. That I had an announcement. I kind of like. I guess one thing I just want to talk about is we are still climbing up the ladder to get to the giveaway. We last time I looked, we were at 80, and yes, and I'm hoping that we just keep climbing the ladder, so that we not only to like reach out to more people, so that we they can see the content, create more of a community, but just to be like I said, I want to be able to give away this stuff, be able to like the more engagement, the more people are there, like the more effort. The more effort, the more time, that we can put into the content. And yeah, I just say, guys, I really appreciate the people that are here, and then I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.